We have with us Trina Brown, Bladensburg Town Council. Please give Trina. Are you back in your house yet?
No, June 1st.
June 1st, all right. We're looking forward to that. We also have Barry Stanton, our Deputy CAO for Public Safety. Barry, if you can stand. And why don't we have all of our Deputy CAOs and Assistant CAOs who are here. Betty, I see you here. Aubrey, David. Can you please thank him a round of applause? Lisa Jackson, how are you doing?
I'm good, sir.
Welcome back from the session. You have to forgive me. I am on Tokyo time. So if I fall asleep during my presentation, or if you fall asleep, I will not hold it against you. Before I get started, though, there was a couple of things I'd like to say. One is, I couldn't help but laugh when Jim said, Wayne said there's something he wouldn't do. Wayne's remarks to me were a little different. It was like, what the? I felt like I was back being a delegate again, and Wayne was bossing me around. So it was... It's so good to be back. I've missed you. While I was over there, I went to Okinawa. As many people know, I grew up in the military. And one of the longest stays that we had in the military was on Okinawa. I was there 3 years. I went there as a 13-year-old, came back as a 16-year-old. And so really it was a part of the formation of who I am. And so it was 40 years ago that I first went to that island. And so I was there, and Dr. Burnham, your folks from Bowie State did a tremendous job, and we should give you another round of applause for the work that they did over there. They actually had some graduating students along with University of Maryland University College. And so I gave this remark, and the hotel that we were staying at was not far from when I first went there, and I couldn't help but remember, what it was like to go back to Okinawa as I was flying over there. And it was a long flight. And all I could think about was, as I was flying, is, God, my mom is a saint. Because if I had 4 children on this long flight, and one of them being very bad, I would have killed them. But the hotel was in the little village that I remember as a teenager. And I went back to, so one day I decided to go walking around there to find our little hut where we lived. When we first went there, we lived off post. And I went to find our hut, and I couldn't find it. But I saw a very nice beach, which was not there when I was there 40 years ago, and high-rises. And it made me think about this beach today and where we are. 40 years ago, it was a village. There were huts. We played on a seawall in vacant land. 40 years later, condos, beaches. It was a resort community. And what one of the professors said to me over there, I can't help but remember, we were talking about the military and the fact that the service may be leaving the island. And I said to him, what is going to happen to the economy? And he says, the economy, when the military leave, that's going to leave an opening. And what they have to decide to do in Okinawa is determine how they fill that void. It's an opportunity. That's what we have in Prince George's County, opportunities. So I thought about that in this speech that I have to give today. Again, I want to thank Jim and Lynn for the hard work that they've done. I've said this many times, that if Prince George's County is going to be successful, we must believe that this county can and should be the economic engine of this region. This morning, I would like to bring you up to date on some of the things that we have been working on in this administration in the last 2.5 years. Some of these issues have been widely reported and debated. But I'd also like to spend some time talking about a few things that I believe are important, but quite frankly and unfortunately, have flown below the radar. We have focused on making Prince George's County one of the best places to live, invest, work, and visit. We have been working to change the perception about this county around the state and around the region. We are a county that is home to a diverse, well-educated, affluent, and inspiring people. And they are doing great things throughout this county, this state, and the world. And I believe, Madam Chair, that we should all be telling our story. And every chance I get to tell that story, I believe people are starting to take notice. Big projects are beginning to be considered in Prince George's County. Game-changing projects. Projects that will shift our economy and our economic paradigm from an economy based on residential property taxes to a greater and broader commercial tax base. My administration has been working hard to restore trust and respect, along with the Council, for Prince George's County. And I believe that we are starting to capture the attention of the business community. But let's face it and be honest with ourselves. If you think about this region as one big neighborhood or one big village, we live among some of the wealthiest, most successful, and competitive neighbors. 2 weeks ago, I sat on a panel where we talked about regional collaboration. And I was pleased to sit there with my good friend Vincent Gray, the mayor of D.C., and County Executive Isaac Leggett, and representatives from Virginia, Representative Connolly from Fairfax, and Alexandria Mayor Ewell. And we all talked about how it's important that we work together in regional collaboration. And none of us shied away from touting our own very region and fighting hard for the things that we're doing in our jurisdiction. But an interesting thing happened during that presentation. When the moderator asked about the possibility of the FBI moving from the District of Columbia and relocating to Prince George's County, he started with my new good friend, Representative Connolly. And Representative Connolly said, "That will happen when hell freezes over." Well, I guess the devil better start sharpening his ice skates. Because the Prince George's County that they are used to, the Prince George's County this region has been used to dealing with, is no more. The excuses that we have heard in the past of why you can't move and open your business to Prince George's County is gone. I believe prospective home buyers, businesses, and tourists who have stayed away from Prince George's County are beginning to come back. You see it at National Harbor. You see it at Bowie. You see it in Glen Arden. You see it in Bladensburg. You see it throughout this county. The old Prince George's County, the old excuses are gone. You know, Lynn mentioned, or Jim mentioned about our two marks. And they've done a fine job. And if we can we please give them another round of applause? They, along with our Deputy CEO, Barry Stanton, have made Prince George's County one of the safest places in this region. In 2012, we had the best year that we've seen, I believe, in about 30 years. I think Doug Williams was the quarterback of the Redskins then. Homicides were down 33%. Think about that, 33%. Everywhere across the nation, homicides were down in single digits. We cut our homicide rates down there. Our fire department, our state's attorney's office, our sheriff's department, all working together to make this county safer. But it's not just last year. Let me run some of our numbers from this year. Overall crime in Prince George's County is down 14% compared to last year. Violent crime is down 20% compared to last year's. Robberies are down 31% compared to last year. Stolen vehicles are down 11% compared to last year. Carjackings are down 56% compared to last year. These reductions are not just good fortune. They're not just chance. They are the results of innovation, collaboration of our whole public safety community to make Prince George's County what it should be. So take the public safety reason for not coming here off the list. Check. Done. In 2011, our police department recognized there was a problem that I'm sure many of you who have businesses in the county know, and that is retail crime was up. So they put together a group to target retail crime in Prince George's County. They called it, very smartly, the Organized Retail Crime Unit. Innovative name, Mark. We're very smart, too, with it. But they used that unit to reach out to businesses, to understand what was going on, and to use the latest technology and resources. They solicited the businesses' input. They looked at trends in the retail and what was experienced. And by doing that, we've been able to work with the businesses and get a handle on what's going on. The police department also created other units to go after things in this county, like my favorite, the Scrap Metal Squad, the Pawn Squad, and the Burglary Suppressions Team. All of these are examples of why our numbers are going down. But I believe the thing that gives me the most pride about public safety and the numbers going down is that we do not treat this simply as a public safety issue. We believe that it's more. And so we were able to bring these numbers down by using our signature program, and that is our Transforming Neighborhoods initiative. While we've only been at the initiative for a little over a year, we are seeing progress. We've established good relationships excuse me, in our 6 communities that we're working in. And folks are starting to take notice of what we're doing and trusting that we will deliver on what we say we will in those communities. We're developing unique partnerships with each and every one of these neighborhoods. To make this effort work and to let people know how serious that I am about making this effort work, in addition to their daily duties, I asked the 6 deputy CAOs and assistant CAOs who I had stand up, not for no reason, because I asked them to take on the task of leading each one of those 6 areas. Because I want the community to understand that they are the most important part of Prince George's County, and they are the ones that's going to revive this county and make it move forward. And I want our leaders to lead by example. We have used the Transforming Neighborhoods to address major issues in some of our most challenging neighborhoods, whether it's crime, social service, health care, youth activity, blight and eyesores in the community, economic development, and yes, education. You see, when we uplift the most fragile parts of our community, all of us benefit. I believe T&I will become a model for other jurisdictions to follow, because it is an example of what can happen when government addresses the needs of communities which face significant challenge by targeting resources across multi-agencies while providing wraparound services to those communities. This focused approach will ultimately help the entire county grow. Now, I need your help in this effort. We need more businesses to be involved in our Transforming Neighborhoods effort. You have resources, not just monetary, but people. We need mentors for our children. We need sponsors for our events. We need speakers for training and seminars. Every little bit will help us. We need your help. I'm going to repeat something throughout this speech, and my good friend Wayne Curry may run out. And that is, if we are going to be successful in Prince George's County, we are going to have buy-in from the business community. So throughout this presentation, it really is an ask. I know you didn't know that you came here for me to ask you for something, but I am going to, because it's important for all of us to move this county forward. We have and we continue to make progress in public safety in Prince George's County. But as you know, we still have a long way to go in the other areas in Prince George's County. We've seen improvements in our health care, but we have a long way to go. We've seen improvements in our social services, but we have a long way to go. If we're going to be the county that I believe that we can be and are, then we have to work tirelessly to implement programs and policies that will help every agency in every part of this government provide for a better government. And we're doing that in Prince George's County. We have programs like our County Click 311, which is not only a key link for citizens to report issues, but this is a line of communication for our businesses as well. We created and implemented the County Stat, a program designed to measure and to monitor, thank you, it's my Rubio moment. See, I still haven't lost it in the trip to Okinawa. Designed to measure and monitor the government and its services in order to ensure that residents and businesses receive effective and efficient services. That's our County Stat. We created, along with the county, what we say is the economic wow factor. That is our $50 million EDI fund. The fund is already showing an impact. We recently announced $2.4 million of county funds that leverage $26 million in private development. Thanks to EDI fund, we can now point to almost 1,000 jobs that we were able to retain, create, and add to Prince George's County in the roughly 10 months that we've done that. I'd like to give our economic development team a round of applause for great work. Now, that's pretty impressive, if I must say so myself. But we are just getting started. We are looking at a number of sustainable and substantial development projects in Prince George's County. Just think about it. We are aggressively going after the FBI, so hell might freeze over, which is estimated to be a $2 billion project. Yes, the Department of Housing and Community Development is coming to Prince George's County, and we'll do a $50 million mixed-use project in New Carrollton. Yes, we are going to build a regional medical center that will cost around $645 million, and will address not only our health care needs, but we believe will also attract office businesses, retail, and other development projects around it. And we have a little project in the southern part of the county called a high-end destination resort that is estimated to be built at $150 million, which will bring in thousands of jobs and millions of dollars to the revenues of Prince George's County. We are scheduled to open the Tanger Outlet Mall in National Harbor. We're also making progress, Mr. Mayor, in the Laurel Town Center, Westphalia, Branch Avenue Metro, and we're going to get a Whole Foods in Riverdale Park. Think about it. If all of these projects I've just mentioned come to reality, that will be approximately $4 billion worth of development taking place around Prince George's County at the same time. That speaks volumes about where we are and what we're doing. This would be an unprecedented time in development in Prince George's County. But more importantly, it will mean jobs and revenues for the county. And it will show that our standing in the state and the region is improving. People now want to come to Prince George's County. Isn't it exciting to watch what we believe should happen and now is beginning to happen? Just last week, there were several stories about the retail market, or about the residential housing market in Prince George's County, and how for the first time it's a 5-year high in housing sales in the county. So for the first time in a long time, I actually see Boyd Campbell and some people smiling. Things are starting to turn around if the retailers are, if the retail market is turning around and they're smiling. Well, speaking of housing, we've also taken, in businesses, we've also taken important steps, and we've listened to you in key areas if we're going to move this forward. So the council and I have created a new department, the Department of Permitting, Inspection, and Enforcement, that will make our ability to build and to enforce and inspect projects in Prince George's County and really make us competitive with the rest of the region. And I want to give the council a round of applause for their hard work and their leadership. Yes, we have taken some bold steps. We've been innovative and aggressive to move this county forward. And on some occasions, people said that I have been foolish. I don't know why. I'm pushing hard to shift the paradigm, and I don't apologize for that. I want to bring more commercial revenues to Prince George's County. I want people around the region and around the world to know that Prince George's County means business. I know that we are making progress, but we still have some tough times ahead. We have the impact of the sequester. We have foreclosures. And yes, improving our education system. Yes, we have made some key investments in education, and it has yielded some positive results. But we must improve our education system more rapidly. I know that I seem impatient, and I am. For the last 2 years, I've tried to bring more attention to our education system by visiting regularly with our schools, and the council and I have provided more money for our education system. We have worked with the superintendent and the board. And as you know, the reputation of any jurisdiction hinges on its public education system. That is your calling card. That is what you're known by. Businesses and federal agencies consider the quality of our schools when making decisions on where they relocate. And so does the military, doesn't it, Jim? That's why recently the governor signed a bill, a little bill. I didn't spend much time in Annapolis this past year. Thought I'd take a break. Right, Doug? The governor signed a bill that will restructure and position Prince George's County to make our schools the best that they can be. It means that our next school leader can focus on making our schools function efficiently and effectively. It means that our new expanded board can concentrate on education policies, improving parental involvement and parental engagement. Almost a year ago, I gave a speech to the Prince George's Chamber about the business of Prince George's County. And I said at that time, education is everybody's business. And I say it again this morning, education is everybody's business. I said then that I was going to go beyond the traditional role as I got to laugh at that one. I was going to go beyond their traditional role as county executive because we needed to make our schools better. That our new structure, a new structure that we have for our education system is good for our parents, good for our neighborhoods, good for business, but most importantly, it is good for Prince George's County. Yes, this is another game changer. But now the real work begins. Together, we have to make this new structure work. A structure where the council, the county executive, and the Board of Education share accountability. The kind of accountability that will move us forward more rapidly because we're all on the line, whether you want it to be or not. The children and families of this county deserve the best education that we can provide. And with your support, I am confident, very confident, that we will get there. Now I want to present a very important challenge to each of you. This summer is rapidly approaching, and our children will be getting out of school, and many of them will need jobs. The county is providing job opportunities for our young people, but clearly we can't provide enough jobs for all of the kids that need. So I'm asking you to help us out. I'm asking you to hire a young person for the summer. Whether it's full or part-time, these young people need something to do. So, thank you. Today is about engagement, your engagement in making Prince George's County better. My challenge and my call to action is for you to get involved. If you're interested in learning how you can help partner with us to provide young people jobs, I'm sure that many of my staff here would be overly pleased and overly anxious to talk to you on how we can do this together. I'm sure the council would be willing to talk to you, because it is important that we give our young people something to do in the summer as we improve our education system. Call to action number 2. There's a 1, there's a 2. I need every one of you to be what our chair of the council is. She is an ambassador to Prince George's County. Everywhere she goes, and that's how we stole the line, she tells our story. We need you to tell our story. Tell your colleagues and your peers around the region, around the state, around the country, around the world about the amazing place called Prince George's County. And encourage them to bring their businesses and their families here to Prince George's County, and their money. And now finally, my last call to action for you. We need you to reach out to us in this administration. Bring us your ideas on how we can help you increase and grow your business. You are key to the growth plan of this county. You provide the majority of jobs in this county. You help us grow our commercial tax base. So we need you to be our partner and to reach out to us. People are buzzing about Prince George's County because we are doing things differently. Yes, we're taking risks. Yes, we are redefining ourselves. Yes, we are doing all of this with confidence and professionalism. Ladies and gentlemen, we didn't get here by accident. These things don't happen by accident. We got here by design. We got here with a purpose. We got here through hard work. Hard work that is making Prince George's County a great place for people to live, invest, work, and play. And so the question is, what is the state of Prince George's County? Prince George's County is strong and growing stronger. And while I am county executive, we will not slow down. We will not lose our sense of urgency. We will not be afraid to take risks. At the end of our time in this government, I can guarantee you that everyone who works for this administration will look back and know that they have left everything that they had on the field. They will know that we have left this place a little bit better, a little bit brighter, with a lot more work to do. But our work would have been finished, and we could pass the baton with our heads held high. Thank you very much. I do.
County Executive, it's time for a couple of questions. You have some? Any hands?
Before I get to questions, let me just say this. I want to talk about Joint Base Andrews and the legislation that was just, or the council resolution that was just passed. I want to recognize the resolution as an important increase in development around Joint Base Andrews. So if young Jim, I want to thank you and the work that you're doing. That right there is an important part of economic development for us in the county. If we can give you another round of applause for doing a tremendous job. I want to thank the council for doing that. And with that, I would be glad to take some questions. Oh, we got a proclamation. Is this for Joint Base? Leonard, for Bowie, 30 years. 30 years without glasses.
Many of you thought I was older than that.
I'm not going to read the proclamation. Can we give Councilwoman Toles a round of applause? I'll just read the first part of this. Thank you. Representing Suitland very well. Whereas the city of Bowie is the largest municipality. Mayor, did you write this? The fifth largest city in the, yes you did, the fifth largest city in the state of Maryland, consisting of 18.8 square miles and approximately 55,000 residents and counting. Can we give Bowie a round of applause? So with the power vested in me, I present this proclamation to Leonard Lucci on behalf of the Bowie Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for your hard work.
Thank you very much.
As I mentioned before, Hard Bargain Farm is really the heart and soul of the Alice Ferguson Foundation. It was students here attending field studies back in the late 1980s that noticed lots of trash in our shoreline, and they asked us, what is it? Where did it come from? And most importantly, what are you going to do about it? And so they inspired us to create the annual Potomac River Watershed Cleanup, which this past April 6th celebrated its 25th year. More importantly, we've cleaned up an awful lot of the river. We work in partnership with a number of jurisdictions in the area as part of our trash initiative, and I'd like to recognize Adam Ortiz, who is the acting head of the Department of Environmental Resources here in Prince George's County. We look forward to long and prosperous relationships with all of you and all of our local jurisdictions. The trash on the shoreline actually sparked another great partnership. As I mentioned before, the 330 acres we use is now part of Piscataway National Park, so we've had a lot of Park Service rangers over time help us with cleanups through the years, and one of our most dedicated rangers, Maggie Zadarozny, declared her distaste for cleaning up trash one year and said what really was needed was a comprehensive education program, and thus our Bridging the Watershed program was born. In partnership with the National Park Service, we bring approximately 6,000 high school and middle school students to all of the national parks in the region for a STEM-based investigative field study where the kids are really student scientists.
It would not have been really, it had not come together. But more importantly, and maybe as importantly as anybody else, this project would not have been undertaken without the leadership of our former executive director, Tracy Bowen, who's also with us today. And I'm going to deviate for a minute from my remarks and say something about Tracy. You believed in this project and you had a vision to draw people into this organization and to embrace a greater reality. And I'm one of them. Your commitment was infectious, and so soon were the doubters that came infected with this crazy idea that in Prince George's County we would demonstrate the leading edge of technology and innovation. You started engaging federal, state, and county partners, and we had to explain to them what a living building was, and you helped to raise the profile of our organization. And without your tireless efforts, constant vigilance, and dream bigger thinking, we would have been a great idea gathering dust until some decades later, and today the dream unfolds. So Tracy, for that, thank you for all of your past services to us. An advocate. You've been a fantastic traveling companion and driver in this promotional tour, and your ability to forge new partnerships and capitalize on existing ones is what put us across the starting line that we crossed today. So Lori, thank you, and thank you to the two of the finest executive directors that this organization has ever had in its 60-year history. Thank you, Lori. They say it can take years of hard work to be an overnight success, and we can relate. From vision to execution, it's taken several years of hard work together to garner into the partnerships and key support needed for this undertaking. You'll hear from many of our supporters today, but before I turn the podium over, I want to thank our elected leaders who stood and understood, more importantly, supported this vision from the beginning. From Governor O'Malley, Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown, Senate President Miller, Chairman Proctor, other strong leaders in Annapolis who have stood with us, our federal partners, our county council members, our friends on Capitol Hill. Without all of your help, this could not, of course, happen. And, of course, the leadership of our environmental education county executive, Baker, and his comrade in arms, Mel Franklin of District 9. Thank you for your support, your encouragement, and, of course, your great generosity. Construction costs alone for this center are approximately $12 million, and we've received $3 million from Prince George's County and a pledge of $5.1 million from the state of Maryland, both of which have recognized the value of this facility to our county and to the students of this area. And we've had very generous private sector donors as well, and you'll hear more about that. The total cost of this project is $15.7 million, which includes an operational reserve fund, and we are pleased to announce with the generous support garnered thus far, we are 75% to the level of getting everything completed. You can applaud that. And today it's my honor to announce our newest partner in our building venture, Old Line Bank. Old Line has been a stalwart in our community for decades, and under the able leadership of Jim Cornelison has become an invaluable asset of Southern Maryland. A true community bank in every sense of the word, Old Line has partnered with many local institutions. They even built their corporate headquarters several years ago in our county, showing their commitment and to their deepening their roots here. Even last night, Jim was honored by the Prince George's County Community Foundation for his hard work. Jim's personal dedication and passion for education, along with Old Line's commitment to community, makes the bank a perfect partner for the venture, and I am thrilled to announce today that they are contributing $75,000 to the construction of the Potomac Watershed Studies Center. Jim, thank you. Our wetlands boardwalk will provide one of our best outdoor classrooms, will be named in their honor. Jim, please stand and be recognized for your extraordinarily generous contribution. And thank you to everyone who has made this a success. It's now my pleasure to introduce one of the most ardent supporters and finest local leaders, Mel Franklin. We are privileged to have the councilman represent our area and for his keen understanding of the unique and special nature of southern Prince George's County. Over the past several years, he has shown that District 9 is as diverse as it is important to the county. We are pleased to have his able representation on the county council. Please join me in welcoming Councilman Mel Franklin, our friend, a catalyst for excellence in our government. Mel?
There will always be times when our rural communities look to appear to be left behind. And it's only going to be through the efforts of those of us here today that we make sure that that never happens. And it's going to be through the efforts of folks like the young man I'm about to bring up, who's going to give you a little bit and talk a little bit about his experiences. Owen Ziegler, who's from Heather Hills up in Bowie, it shows you that this center is not just for Accokeek. It's not just for Bowie. It's going to be for the region, and it's going to be for the world. To come to Accokeek, to come to Prince George's County, to come to Maryland to know that we were the leaders when it became time to take charge in this new economy. So I want to thank everyone for being a part of this, for making the day happen. And without further ado, I'm gonna have Owen come on up and tell us a little bit about what this means to him. Owen Ziegler, let's give him a round of applause. Come on up. Good to see you, man.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Owen Ziegler. I am 10 years old and in Ms. Donahue's 5th grade class at Heather Hills Elementary School in Bowie, Maryland. I am thrilled to have the opportunity to speak today about my class trip to Hard Bargain Farm. I couldn't wait until my overnight trip to Hard Bargain Farm in January. We were separated into groups after we arrived. My first activity was a hike through the woods. We learned about pollution and how it harms living organisms. That one hike changed my whole point of view about the environment. In the future, I see myself stopping someone from littering to protect the animals and nature. We also got to go dip netting in the creek. The litter made me worry about the fish and animals that might die or choke from eating it. We spent most of our time outside on the first day. When you are outside, there is so much more space to run around and be free. My visit to Hard Bargain Farm provided many hands-on learning experiences like milking a cow. We also went to the Ferguson's house and rolled down the rolling hill next to it. I got to feed the pigs, and the goat chased me when I wore my plastic rain poncho. These are all things that I will never forget. The Potomac Watershed Study Center sounds like a new, interesting building. I've never heard about a net zero water, net zero energy, zero waste, and carbon neutral facility. I think it is fascinating that the building uses zero energy. It sounds like a cool place to visit and learn about protecting our environment and reducing the carbon footprint. It is very important that places like this exist. Many of my friends have never had a chance to get out to the woods or see farm animals up close. We do not have very many opportunities to explore nature at school. Thank you for providing our school and other schools this learning opportunity. My younger sisters cannot wait to visit Hard Bargain Farm. I'm glad to have the honor of introducing Prince George's County Executive Rashawn Baker. He's an awesome guy who cares deeply about education. His children attended Heather Hills Elementary, which is the school I currently attend. Please come on up, Mr. Baker.
Can we give Owen another round of applause, please? And more importantly, can we give Owen's mom another round of applause? That is, Jerome, did we record that, the awesome part? Because I want to show my children that part. I don't think they've ever used awesome with me. I do want to thank Lori and for the work you're doing in Alice Ferguson and Hard Bargain Farm. This is amazing. As Council Member Mel Franklin said, I mean, we're leading the way in Prince George's County because of this building. One of the things that you do know is that when I first became county executive in a tough budget year, the council and I were struggling with how do we, close a $77 million budget gap, but still provide the quality of education for people and children in Prince George's County. And we decided, even in those tough times, to invest in the future. Part of that investment was putting money, I think we put about $3 million into the Alice Ferguson Hard Bargain Farm, and I think that deserves a round of applause for the work of the council for doing it. I certainly want to thank their president, Mike Herman. I served on the board. I don't know that my time here was beneficial to Hard Bargain, but my child loved it. But I want to thank you and the board members for doing a great job and for sticking with it. If we can give them a round of applause. My job really is to thank people who got us here to this day. The person who actually convinced me to go on the board at a time when my wife told me I had to go work. I was no longer in the legislature. I just lost the county executive race, and she said, go make some money. But Tracy Bowen, where's Tracy? In the back. Tracy convinced me and convinced my, my wife that I should join the board here, and she's done a terrific job. Please give her another round of applause. Certainly want to thank President Miller for his work in commitment, and the entire 27th District team. And they have really just undergirded and taken this under their wings and made sure that we kept funding it and really just carrying the torch in Annapolis. So certainly want to thank him. I want to thank Delegate Walker and Delegate Turner, this will be their new district, and I'm sure they're going to carry on the mantle and the torch for that. Certainly the Lieutenant Governor for his commitment to this, like me, his children and have gone to our schools here in Prince George's County, and he understands the importance of having something like this here in Prince George's County. Let me just close with two things. How I got involved in Hard Bargain Farm was I did get an invitation from Tracy to come here to one of their events. And at that time, I was very busy. And so I said, and when the invitation came, I said, I ain't going way the heck down there. I live in Cheverly. And my youngest, who was at Heather Hills, who had come here, the other kids went to Camp Smith, but she came here, saw the invitation. She said, Daddy, we're going, aren't we? I said, yes. I came here because it exposed her to nature, to the environment, and really she educated me on what we should be doing and what Prince George's County, quite honestly, is really like. Councilmember Franklin said it. A lot of times we don't understand the vast nature of Prince George's County, how big it is, how diverse it is, how we're urban, rural, and suburban all at the same time until you come to a place like this. And it's because of Quincy Baker that I agreed to go on the board. It is because of Quincy Baker that I could talk passionately about what's going on here. But it's because of your work here at the Alice Ferguson Farm and Hard Bargain Farm that Quincy Baker understood science, nature, and how to interact with other folks. It is because of your work here that Quincy Baker was able to learn something that I learned on a farm in Valdosta, Georgia with my granddad. And it's because of that work that millions of children like Quincy Baker will learn to not only love nature, but make this world better. Thank you very much.
Owen, let me tell you something that you might not know about young Owen Ziegler. The governor put into his budget this year about $50,000 in the aid to educational institutions for this center, for the Alice Ferguson Foundation. It's a commitment that we've made year after year. Some years have been more difficult to maintain that commitment. As you know, we've come through some difficult times. Word is around Annapolis, young Owen Ziegler, that 50,000 grew to 80,000 because of your spectacular testimony before the budget committees in Annapolis. So we owe Owen a big round of applause. You know, Owen, I say to people, sometimes the most difficult thing to do is not just to get the money into the budget, but to keep it in the budget. You went one step further, and you increased that amount in the budget. And one day, I think you, if you don't already, you will understand the true significance of that. When you graduate from Harvard and you come back and you serve in the Maryland State Senate, you'll be the longest serving Senate president one day, and you'll truly understand the importance of that. Look, it's great to be here at our Hard Bargain Farm, surrounded by Piscataway National Park on this beautiful day in Prince George's County. I, too, want to thank our county executive, who not only has made a commitment and held firm to that in terms of improving public education in Prince George's and public safety, your commitment to economic development, and certainly today you, with your colleagues, Andrea and Mel, have demonstrated commitment to sustainable development. And I want to thank the county for your $3 million investment in this outstanding project. I want to thank certainly my colleagues in Annapolis, Jay and Veronica. Again, more difficult than putting it in the budget is keeping it in the budget. Thank you very much. Working with Senate President Mike Miller to ensure that the state could make good on our commitment. And when I say our commitment, I mean on behalf of the people of the state of Maryland, a $5 million investment in this spectacular project. And then finally, of course, I want to extend my sincerest gratitude to our private partners, Old Line Bank and the others who've been mentioned, to round out the $12 million it's going to take to complete this project. I think that leaving our children a planet that is better than the one that we received from our parents is second in importance only to our requirement, our responsibility to equip our children to do the same. And the work that is being done here at the Allison Ferguson Center and the work that will be made possible through the Potomac Watershed Studies Center is going to give our children the tools to equip them to leave this planet, our Earth, in better condition than they inherited. So I'm very grateful for the work that you're doing here. We have a number of goals in state government, strategic goals that we all share and pursue. And why I'm real excited about this project, it enables us to make progress on 3 of our 15 goals in one $5 million investment. And whether it's towards our renewable portfolio standard, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, or reducing energy consumption by 15% by 2015, we get to do that, all of that right here in this one project. And Laura, you mentioned creating jobs, and that's true not only in the short term and putting Ficina and a number of others to good work, but the jobs that will be filled by the Prince Georgians and others who come through this center, and they will be inspired by and learn so much about the green economy, which is a growing economy, an important sector in our growing economy. So we are going to prepare these young people to fill those jobs. So it's about a whole lot of goals that are being achieved right here in this $12 million investment. So I came by simply to say thank you. And now it's my sincere pleasure to bring to the podium and introduce another awesome guy who cares a great deal about Southern Maryland, rural Maryland, and one Maryland, my good friend, Senate President Mike Miller.
So it's everybody kind of coming together, working together, public, private partners, state, county, people of goodwill coming together, making this happen, coming together, staying together, working together, and it equated success. It's equated success for generations to come. Our forefathers, they captured rain. They had to capture rain. There was no running water. Just one quick anecdote. I had these highbrows from all over the United States in Annapolis last week. They were part of the National, I'm a historian, this is part of the National Trust. And so after viewing the State House, we took a place called Whitehall Mansion, which is just before you get to the Bay Bridge on the right-hand side, this magnificent colonial mansion. But we had to explain to them that you're going to have to go to the bathroom here in the State House because there's no running water. There was no running water in colonial times, in this beautiful mansion. And the only thing between them and Baltimore is a McDonald's. McDonald's? We're going to go to the bathroom at McDonald's? Yes, that's what we're going to do. Well, the point in telling you that is now this is a net zero water loss right here. Net zero energy loss right here. Our forefathers could never imagine something like this, especially something like this in southern Prince George's County. And we're just very grateful for all those who come together to make it happen. Thank you, and God bless you. It's a privilege and honor. Thank you so much.
I hope that this is going to be one of hundreds of these complexes that will go up around the world, because I do believe, as one of the speakers previously said, that people will beat a path to this complex from around the world because we need them. We need to educate the teachers, we need to educate the children, and we need to educate them in a hurry, because I do a lot of sailing, and as I sail around this world on my net zero sailboat, I see the disasters that we're causing as the human race on this planet, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I just flew back from Beijing 36 or so hours ago, and To be honest with you, I wouldn't have been able to see half the people at this gathering today because of the air quality that I left behind in Beijing. And one of the last things that, excuse me, that people do when they get dressed in the morning before they go to work in Beijing is to put on a surgical mask. And that's how they're living every day. Now, we've had this in this country as well. I remember when I first came to the United States, I went to Pittsburgh, and I was horrified. Pittsburgh in the 70s was like Beijing today. So things can change and things must change, but we can't just change them here. We have to change them around the world. And I think this facility, as I say, will attract people from around the world to see what we're doing here and to emulate it everywhere they can, because it will take the children and the children's children to make all the changes that we need to make for the good of Mother Nature. That is, that the private sector does have to step up a little bit more. We have been a little bit slow getting off the ground on the private sector. So I would like to ask everybody here today who's from the private sector, whether individuals or organizations, that you do not leave here today without making a written commitment to the farm to produce some additional cash so that this facility, when it's built, will have the funds to maintain it. So I really would ask that you do that. And as my part in that today, I'm committing right now to match Oline Bank and their commitment. And finally, I just want to thank everybody that I know here at Hard Bargain Farm for welcoming me back today. I've had more hugs and kisses and people who were truly pleased to see me back here again. And I am so pleased to be back. And I am so delighted to be back to see this amazing structure coming out of the ground behind us, assuming we ever get all the permits in place, correct? What, was I not meant? I was meant to say that? Okay, sorry. I take it back. So again, private sector that's here today, and private sector that no other private sectors, please, please put your hand in your pocket. I realize it's difficult times. This is an amazing program. It's a program for 7 years that we've been working on here. It's 7 years since we first set up to get this off the ground. And 7 years is not an incredibly long time, but we can't wait another 7 years to get all the funding in place so that we can not only build it, but we can maintain it. So please, please, private sector, do what you can today, and please don't leave the facility today without making a commitment to anybody at the farm who is willing to listen to you. And again, thank you all very much.